guys, welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D.
And today we're going to be talking about someone that I feel like we're always talking about. If it's not the Kardashians, it's Britney. If it's not Britney, it's J-Lo. If it's not J-Lo, then it's Jada. Jada Pinkett-Smith, Alcina, Shakur, and what's the other last name? Is she missing one?
I think I said Alcina Shakur for now.
For now, Fernandez. Let's add Fernandez in there.
Okay, sure.
So obviously we know the slap heard around the world, right? And everything
Yeah.
that ensued after and how we feel. If you haven't checked out our videos, go check them out. It's been a whole slew of things. And basically the internets, including us, we actually don't want to hear what's going on in Will and hers' private life.
Yeah.
Worthy, her memoir, there was so many things that we didn't want to know that we now know and that we can't unsee and not know anymore. But what's interesting is that today we'll be discussing the infamous, Oscar slap. And she says that slap helped her marriage. It
Okay.
saved her marriage.
Okay.
Let us know.
Okay, she reveals why she'll never leave Will Smith, even though they have separate homes, and basically how the Oscars saved her marriage. That I don't understand,
Exactly.
considering they were separated.
We have
But
thoughts.
okay, we'll get there. Okay, so according to the Daily Mail, when a marriage hits a rocky path, couples find different ways of bringing back the magic. Date night or perhaps counseling. For Jada Pinkett-Smith and her husband Will, it took a public scandal to reset the relationship. I nearly didn't even attend the Oscars that year, but I'm glad I did, says Pinkett-Smith. I call it the holy slap. Now, because so many positive things came after it. She is, of course, referring to the 2022 Oscars, at which her husband had been nominated in the Best Actor category. Will Smith won for his role in the Venus and Serena Williams tennis biopic, King Richard, which is a great movie, by the way. The couple were seated in the front row when comedian and host Chris Rock made a joke about Pinkett-Smith's shaven head, a result of alopecia. Although at first Smith seemed to laugh, his wife gave an unamused eye roll. Smith ascended the stage and slapped Rock's face in front of a global audience, or TV audience. Quote, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth," Smith raged in the deathly silent auditorium. Pinkett-Smith reeled, but this was the moment that remade their marriage. That moment of the ish hitting the fan is when you see where you really are, Pinkett says. After all those years trying to figure out if I would leave Will's side, it took that slap for me to see I will never leave him. Who knows where our relationship would be if that hadn't happened? Okay. The truth is, their near 30-year union was in crisis. Although in Smith's Oscars outburst, he referred to Pinkett-Smith as his wife, it later transpired they had actually split up 6 years previously. And as far back as July 2020, the couple had revealed, all in a podcast that she co-hosted, the Red Table Talk. And y'all know where this is going next. In it, Pinkett-Smith, with her clearly emotional husband next to her, described their separation and her subsequent entanglement with troubled young singer-songwriter, 19 years her junior, called August Alsina. She says she was trying to help him. This is how a friendship unfolded that much later, very unexpectedly, turned romantic, she writes in her memoir, Worthy. In the book, Pinkett-Smith is so frustrated by the bad press she received, not to mention the sympathy for her ex, that she dreamed of being a werewolf, tearing her husband to shreds and eating him. Girl, I didn't know that part. Oh my gosh. I'm not here to discuss Will's journey, she says firmly. The point is, at the time of my entanglement, Will and I were not together, but he just wasn't ready for our split to be revealed. The reason I addressed it was that the entanglee had spoken about it. Alcina released a song called Entanglements, which includes the line, "You left your man just to F with me, just to pay him back." And I wanted to confront that. It was my mess, and I took the bullet for it. She recently told a journalist that another reason for fixing her marriage was that her husband is getting old and needs looking after. Ay Dios. Will Smith is 55. Is he unwell? No, I was trying to be funny, but we are both getting older, and besides, we've been together 30 years or so. Even if someone came along, neither of us is going anywhere. We are a family that needs to look out for one another and always will be. Sometimes it takes a crisis for you to see that.
Hmm. Plot twist, how about if she didn't attend, then Will Smith wouldn't have slapped Chris Rock and he would still be making movies and he could be, getting more Oscars. Instead, he's banned for like 10 years because of her little eye roll.
My head hurts. I just don't even know what to say. Like,
this is like whiplash, I think, because here,
yeah.
she was promoting Worthy and she was like, well, we weren't together and the August thing and blah, blah, blah. And, revealing all these things about Tupac and whatever else she wanted to tell us. And then now the narrative is that the holy slap, the slap
The
that saved
holy
my.
slap.
So she didn't know that was the holy slap before this whole Worthy press tour.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
I think Jada is just upset that, we didn't receive well everything that she was giving. So now she's changing her narrative and being like, that really saved us. And now I really want to be with him. And, there are rumors that they want to do a book together called
Oh,
Don't Do This at Home or something like that.
oh
Will and Jada, so I don't know if they're going to talk about their relationship or relationship advice. I don't know what that is. So maybe that's the plot twist. But Jada, you're giving me a headache. People don't know what to do with you. And on top of that, she defended Will with all these entanglement, we're gonna call it, allegations
of his
with
own.
with Dwayne Martin, and you wanted to sue Tasha K saying we suing, and this is the first time we've seen you I guess defend your man. So I don't know where you stand. I'm like, do you like Will because you were werewolfing a few seconds ago, or do you? What is it? I don't know. Tell me, because I'm confused.
So, my understanding, right?
Uh huh.
And I speak from, coming from a family, parents that have been together for 30 plus years. After a time, I think it's less of this like, you know, romantic hand holding, lovey dovey situation to roommates,
Companions.
family, companion, brother, sister, but not in that way. Like just it's a companionship, right? And so it's like to me, I think that in on their end, it would have probably been best for them to fully separate, when it happened. And then if along the years they came back to one another, I think that would have been celebrated. I think people would have been over the moon about that. But everything that they've put us through, and I will say it that way because that is exactly what they're doing. They are putting us through things,
Mm-hmm.
only makes it difficult for people to root for them. I think that like after the slap, obviously Will faced a lot of backlash. He has not really been able to get back to who he was pre-slap, right? Like I'm glad if she claims that it helped their marriage, but at the sacrifice of his career is pretty insane considering they were already separated.
Mm-hmm.
And, if he's happy with her, then great. I love Will. But I think that she should probably continue to just like stop talking, continue to just, go the other way. I don't know. Like, we don't want it. If there's another book, we don't want it. I don't know who you could possibly give relationship advice to, ma'am, but that's not something we're here for. Like, I don't know. It's weird. And, the internet of course always makes a joke about everything, but I think people are genuinely tired of hearing from her.
Yeah.
And the narrative has been for years now that she made him look horrible, right? There's so many memes and gifs of like Will with that look on his face at the red table talk. You know the one I'm talking about. And
Hmm.
it's just depressing because now it just kind of feels like, sir, do you need to escape? Like, blink if you need help. I don't don't know what to say, and then on top of that, like, she says things sometimes that just don't land the way she thinks they're going to land. Like,
Hmm.
writing that whole thing about her wanting to turn into a werewolf and like tear him to pieces and eat him, like, man, that's a little too graphic and a little too weird.
Yeah.
And then there was like, I don't know if she did it was like maybe a podcast that she did with Jay Shetty, I think is his
Hmm.
name. Where she kind of basically said like, can't get rid of him or something like that. And it's like, nobody took that as a joke. Like, I know she meant it as one, and everybody knew she meant it as one, but nobody really took it. Nobody laughed, you
Yeah.
know? And I think the consensus has been, once we learned of their separation, Will run, file divorce papers. Instead, they're working on their marriage.
I think I just don't understand the concept of bashing Will or their relationship if she's going to stay with him.
Yeah.
If they're going to be together or, husband, wife, companions, friends, they're never leaving each other's side, they're never going to get divorced, then why air all this out? Especially
Yeah.
in today's day and age where we, butcher stuff. I say we, the internets.
Yeah.
We butcher stuff. There could be bullies, there could be, people that are antagonizing, people there that are trying to destroy your marriage. I mean,
Yeah.
on a daily basis. Like, why put that information out there?
Right.
Why, mess up your reputation and his?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
You know, maybe it's
I
I don't
think
know.
she hates him. I know.
Dang.
Well,
Woo.
who would say, I just want to be a werewolf and shred him to pieces? It seems like from the beginning, and I think I've seen like little snippets of the Worthy memoir where she
Uh-huh.
says, basically Will wasn't like her type, or I don't know if I read it somewhere, like Will wasn't really her type, and Will did this. I think there was a one time where he threw her, I don't know which birthday party, maybe
I think her
40th,
50th, wasn't it?
was it 50th?
Might have been.
And she was so unhappy with everything that he was doing because it was about Will and it wasn't about her. So
Yeah.
it seems like, at least what's presented to us, or the little instances that she talks about. She seems like she resents him or doesn't like him, or she's mad about the choices that she's made to be with him, and she lashes out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you know, then she went on to this Worthy press tour. We find out all these different things that doesn't put him in a positive light at times. I mean,
Yeah.
what man wants, his wife to talk about an entanglement? First of all,
Yeah.
that's what's the word?
Embarrassing?
Demasculating him.
Yeah. Right.
I guess it happens, but perception.
Right.
She says like, "Oh, I love Tupac, blah blah blah." His daughter is over there writing, Tupac fake letters. Like,
Yeah.
what? That's disrespectful in so many ways. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think she probably loved him at some point or has some kind of love for him. But
Yeah.
again, is that love? Because I don't understand it.
I don't know. I think everybody has their own way of like dealing with relationships, and we just don't get hers. Or we don't get their way. I think that's really like what we need to understand is that we ain't gonna understand. Like that's
Mhm.
the the bottom line. I think we're also in a very strange memoir era. Because you had Britney Spears' memoir that everybody absolutely loved. And then you also had Prince Harry's memoir that was like both loved and then despised. It's like it's been hit or miss with a lot of these revelations. And I think the oversharing has hit a point where it's been or become too much for people, which is
Yeah.
crazy because literally that is the society we live in is oversharing now.
Mhm.
But I think that a lot of the time people would prefer to kind of like let the mystique, still be there instead of like us looking behind the curtain and seeing that they're just regular people like the rest of us and they are, fallible and not perfect and like I think that's kind of what's really been upsetting to a lot of people because for a long time it was all about that Will and Jada love and now it's like we don't want that. Like, no thank you.
We don't want that, and what do we aspire to if we
Yeah.
don't,
So
if
it's
they're
it's
not here?
disappointing
Yeah.
and I think that that's probably been like a lot of the issue. I think and it's also sexist. I will give Jada like some credit here. Like it is
Mhm.
sexist the fact that like she has been dragged for her entanglement, whereas if Will had had an entanglement, he wouldn't have been dragged. It still would have been Jada. Oh dang, your man cheated on you. What you doing wrong? But then
Mhm.
here is the opposite. She's the one who did something, and they're still dragging her. So it's a sexist thing for certain. So I
Yeah.
do, in that sense, feel bad for her because she spent years dealing with the backlash from all of that despite the fact that they were separated, right? So I get that resentment. I think you're right that she probably holds resentment. And I think that's a big part of it that he kind of let her take that bullet, that he kind of let her drown. So I don't know, maybe the slap is his karma or she sees it as his karma. And so now it's
Mhm.
like, oh, we're even. We can get back together. Like, that's a little weird, but who knows? Maybe
Well, I
that's it.
will also say that, we all have dragged Jada, like you said, but and Will has been very mum about things. He hasn't
Yeah.
really spoken. So, sometimes I do think that Jada is kind of still protecting Will and taking the hits because
Yeah.
what don't we know about Will? I will say
Right.
that. That's see, guys, I'm not completely, ballistic here. I do
You
have
have a
some
point,
sense.
ma'am.
So Will's not saying things that probably drove her to be this upset with him, or maybe he's
Right.
not talking and then we're seeing things in this light, and she's the one getting attacked, getting the beating all along, all
You're
this time.
right.
So I just wonder what we don't know, I guess, even though we don't want to know, but what don't we know about this relationship? Like, what's Will's side? Like, what are his faults that
But
we
see,
don't
like at this point, would it even matter? Like the way the society is, the way the internet is, it's still gonna fall back on Jada. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you lost me at Alcina Shakur though. So I
Dang.
don't think I'm but it's unfortunate that sometimes, women take bullets for the one
Right.
they love. But Jada, you ain't help yourself here because
You really did not.
the things that we actually saw and read and know,
Yeah.
like it doesn't put you in the best light. I will say.
No, not really.
I will say. Get it?
Okay, girl, that's it.
All
We're
right,
done.
guys. Let us know what you think in the comments about, this holy slap and saving their their marriage. I can't believe they call it a holy slap. I
Girl.
think that's weird.
Yeah.
Do you think that, they're gonna be lovey-dovey now, or
Oh
what,
gosh.
what, what are they what's this new phase of theirs? I'm interested to see what you guys think. Are
Yeah.
we forgiving Jada for all her Jadisms, everything that she said?
Jadism.
I don't know. All the things that she said that we didn't want to know and now we can't unhear.
Right.
But that concludes today's video. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're growing our community and we're so excited. So we want to thank you guys. but your friends could be our friends, and we could all be friends. So keep sharing. We
Yeah.
greatly appreciate it. We also have social media, which Steve will tell you about.
We're on Instagram and TikTok at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, comment on the posts. Let us know what you're thinking. We enjoy interacting.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.